What's up, YouTube? It's your boy JP's on the keys, and it's 2 Easy Back video today. And we got a Watch Mojo video. We usually never have Watch Mojo videos because some of those lists are kind of crazy. But this is the top 10 British bands who never cracked America. Yes, I know I got my hair cut. I know. But, man, speaking of Britain, that man Usyk had Tyson Fury looking like a drunk sailor last night. I'm looking at the fight, and like the ref is not like, are you gonna declare a knockdown? Like, dude is bouncing all over the ropes, ain't putting up no hands, and he's getting smacked by Usyk. Like, Fury's like, he talked all that stuff before the fight. Like, oh, I'm in his head. Even though he can't speak English, he still got me on his mind. I'm living rent free in his head. Like, you got a 6-inch, like you're 6 inches taller than the dude. You're like 30 pounds heavier than the dude. He has way smaller hands than you, but yet you're walking around getting pummeled through the whole match. Getting pummeled through the whole match. It's crazy. I'm still kind of crazy. Like that whole, I don't know, man. I don't think him and Anthony Joshua fought, or am I just like slow? Because that would be a crazy fight if him and Anthony Joshua ever fought. I don't think they fought before. If they did, I'm just like really forgetting it. But this is the top 10 British bands who never cracked America. Maybe I've heard of some of these guys. Maybe I haven't, but if I haven't, I'm getting put on to some dope music. So, and I'm dropping a Patreon reaction today, so stay tuned.
These musical groups found fame in the UK, but they remained relatively obscure in the US. Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 British bands who never cracked America. Before we begin, we publish new videos every day, so be sure to subscribe for more great content. For this list, we're focusing on bands that never experienced continuous commercial success in America. Number 10, Supergrass.
It'll be alright. Oh my god, that song is dope. That song is crazy. What? That song, I love that song, man.
For a British band to successfully cross over into America, it's crucial to capitalise upon the buzz. And for Oxford group Supergrass, well, they failed to expand beyond their native demographic.
With their
1995 debut album I Should Coco, Supergrass briefly reached the #1 in the UK charts, and actually released 2 more albums by the end of the 90s. By that time though, music trends had changed significantly in the US, and well, Supergrass began to drift away, barely cracking the US top 200 with 2002's Life on Other Planets. Sadly, it all ended with an internal Twitter beef. Number 9, Madness. During the late 70s and early 80s, this band...
Our house in the middle of our street. Our house. Oh my god. Oh, these bangers. Oh my god.
Was far more than just a one-hit wonder in the UK. In fact, Madness would even influence the American band that would ultimately become No Doubt.
Oh, No Doubt. It's like, I'm just a girl in the world.
And like Gwen Stefani's versatile group, Madness didn't align themselves with a specific genre, as they blended together a variety of musical styles. With that being said, Madness was, in fact, linked to skinheads in their early days, which perhaps negatively affected larger scale opportunities. Regardless, the UK band experienced great success during their initial 10-year run,
they don't give off skinhead vibes, to be honest. They really don't.
The US top 100 charts. Number 8, Take That.
I guess now it's time for me to give up.
By the mid-90s, the legendary music executive Clive Davis signed this UK boy band to a record deal with Arista, but Take That had already begun to self-destruct.
So come on, get it on. Don't know what
I feel like I've heard this song.
In their prime, Gary Barlow stunned critics with his songwriting skills, and a young Robbie Williams displayed his obvious star power. and so Take That seemed prime for America. Yet Williams quit in 1996 just as the pop scene was about to change in the United States. The group initially formed in the early 90s, and despite 3 well-received albums, Take That just didn't seem to have the right amount of mojo to keep it going, although the core members would later reunite with Williams in 2010.
Wash your mouth, son, or you'll find yourself floating home.
Number 7, Kasabian. American indie fans have certainly heard of this group from Leicester, despite the fact that Kasabian's lead singer Sergio Pizzorno once noted that he hates indie bands. So that's one thing to consider when thinking about Kasabian's failed American crossover. In the UK, they reached number 4 on the UK charts with their self-titled 2004 debut, and the next several albums managed to reach number 1. By 2013, however, guitarist Jay Mellor actually left to play with Liam Gallagher, formerly of Oasis, while Tom Meehan cited unfinished business in America around the same time. However, the 2014 album 4813 failed to chart in the US, and maybe Kasabian just wasn't ready for a committed American crossover.
I think I've heard this
Number
song
6,
before.
Happy Mondays. Now this Mojoholics is what you call a Manchester band. From 1980 to 1993, Happy Mondays managed to gain quite the following in the UK, certainly with their 1990 album Pills and Thrills and Bellyaches.
I'm just trying to remember if I've
Considering
heard this
that
stuff
a band
before.
like New Kids on the Block was big in the United States at the time, well, that's just one reason why the Happy Mondays sound failed to connect with the American mainstream. Even so, this is a band that heavily influenced some of the more notable UK bands of the 90s, such as Oasis and the Stone Roses. Yet their sound embodies more of a distinct Euro vibe rather than trendy American hooks. Number 5, Stereophonics.
I've been down and I'm wondering why these little black clouds keep walking around me.
This is some hard
From
music.
the late 90s to the early 2000s, this Welsh band established a reputation for their killer live shows. However, Stereophonics ultimately dismissed original drummer Stuart Cable in 2003, reportedly because he was more interested in his TV show than the band. Sadly, Cable would pass away just 7 years later. In their prime, Stereophonics was known as one of the most talented UK bands, releasing 5 number 1 albums throughout the 2000s. Yet only one of those, 2001's Just Enough Education to Perform, managed to crack the US Top 200 charts.
So maybe tomorrow I'll find my way home.
Despite the lack of American buzz, Stereophonics continues in their native Wales as one of the most highly regarded UK bands of the 21st century. Number 4, Manic Street Preachers. Like many overly ambitious rock bands, this Wales group infamously hyped up their 1992 debut album, Generation Terrorists, and, well, failed to crack the top 10 in the UK charts. In fact, the Manics wouldn't land a number 1 until 6 years later, this coming 3 years after the mysterious disappearance of the celebrated songwriter and guitarist Richie Edwards. Their music is pure rock, something that US rock enthusiasts could easily get behind, or so it would seem. But while the Manics became iconic figures overseas, their sound just never translated to American mainstream consumers. Decades after the loss of Edwards, however, the Manics continue to wail. Number 3, Pulp.
They're really getting real obscure. But the thing is, I've noticed is like the U.S. music scene is really volatile. Like, it's just like, so, like, look at the Billboard 100 right now. It's all the diss tracks from Kendrick and Drake. And you got a few, like a country song and a TikTok song. Like, the U.S. music scene is really volatile. So, I mean, like, it's kind of hard to really crack the U.S. scene because it seems like every 3 or 4 months, it's a new trend. You know what I mean? So, that's really what it is to me.
By the time of this band's success during the mid-90s Britpop era, they had already been together well over 15 years. And until then, Pulp had never actually landed a gold record, let alone an American hit.
The way he dancing is
But
crazy.
albums like Different Class and This Is Hardcore teased at a potential American crossover, with the latter finding its way to the US charts in 1996. At this time though, reported drug use and internal scuffling shook up the band, and Pulp's final album was ultimately released in the early fall of 2001, peaking at number 6 in the UK charts. For a brief time, this group was on par with the likes of Oasis, but like the Gallaghers, Pulp just couldn't manage to keep the unit together. Number 2, The Jam.
I've heard of them, like, I feel like I've heard of the Jam
By the
before.
multi-talented Paul Weller, a man known for his distinct British compositions, this band came, saw and conquered during their decade-long existence. Well, at least in the UK.
I first felt a fist, and then a kick. I could now smell their breath.
Aesthetically, the Jam preceded punk, and they called it quits just as the new wave took off in the early 80s. In between, they released 6 acclaimed studio albums, with the last 5 climbing the UK charts. Truth be told, the Jam had somewhat of a steady presence in the US charts during their run, but despite their stylized look and obvious talent, the party ended with the 1982 release, The Gift. And just like that, the Jam was gone before Americans could catch on. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honourable mentions.
Yo, this is some hard music.
Meet me on the mad parade when the midnight bells are chiming.
Number 1, The Stone Roses. If you're even vaguely familiar with the bravado and attitude of Oasis, well, let's just say the Gallagher brothers were inspired by the Stone Roses. This is a band that once said America doesn't deserve us yet, and while they may have been right, the Stone Roses didn't seem in a hurry to record consistent music after the renowned 1989 debut.
Let me put you in the picture, let me show you what I mean. The Messiah is my sister, ain't no king, man, she's my queen.
In fact, it took a full 5 years for the Manchester group to drop a second album, and the band folded for good.
I feel like a lot of these, every act is not meant to be just worldwide. You know what I mean? I'm not saying to limit yourself, but you know, it seems like the like I said earlier, the American music industry was so volatile that it's like just you don't know what's going to be a hit in 3 or 4 months, maybe a year from now. The entire scene is going to change. Like, think about how quickly how quickly things went through. Like, oh, back then, stuff like Biggie and Pac and Talib Kweli and The Roots and Warren G and Mobb Deep and all them guys were at the top of the rap charts. Now all of a sudden, you can't do that type of music. Now you got Drake, you got Kendrick, you got J. Cole, you got guys like Jack Harlow who have had number ones in rap. Like, you got the the mood changes. Like same thing with country. A lot of the country music is a lot more kind of hip hoppy now. With a lot of the country drum, with a lot of hip hop and drums and like sing songy country stuff. Like everything like changes. You know what I mean? The scene, all the scenes change, all the stuff changes. But this is some dope music. I'm not gonna lie. This is some dope music to listen to. Cause I don't know, this type of vibe. I like this type of vibe of music. But thank you so much. I really appreciate all the support you guys give my channel. Be sure to stay tuned to my Patreon because I'm gonna drop a video on there today pretty soon. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all the support you guys give me. Leave a like, hit that subscribe button. I'm out. Peace.